Joining me now is Colorado Congressman Jason Crow. He is a member of the Intelligence and Armed Services Committee and a former Army Ranger who served 3 tours of duty, for which we thank you, sir. Welcome back to the show. So Trump was showing increasing frustration with Putin, and then now he announces this one-on-one meeting and preemptively signaled that he's going to give Moscow the territory that it seized in Ukraine. Do you have any hope he's going to negotiate a potential peace deal favorable toward Ukraine and our allies?
I have very little hope for that. And I never pay attention to what Donald Trump says. It's only what he does, because he says so many things that he lies about, that he exaggerates, that he forgets about. He moves on to the next shiny object in front of him. So it has less to do with any frustration that he fakes in any given moment and what he's actually doing. And he's handing victory after victory, public relations victory, to Vladimir Putin. Right? That's clearly what this is. The fact that Vladimir Putin now has a meeting with the president of the United States in Alaska, that doesn't involve Ukraine is a massive coup for Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, I'm curious, the choice of Alaska, what does that tell you? Because there were all sorts of other options that were being considered.
Well, you have to know the history of Russia and the United States to understand that this was a very intentional decision made to put it in Alaska, right? This used to be Russian territory. The United States bought Alaska from Russia. It is very close to Russia. So those who seek to rebuild the Russian Empire, as Vladimir Putin does, look at Alaska as a key part of their heritage and their history. So, yet again, we continue to be played by Vladimir Putin. Putin knows exactly what he's doing. He's playing chess, and Donald Trump is barely playing checkers here.
We have another topic to get to with you. As this week, the FBI fired a senior official who briefly served as acting director and an assistant director in charge of the Washington field office. Both notably played roles in the January 6th cases. The former director previously resisted demands to fire agents involved in investigating the Capitol attack. Is this a blatant, sir, weaponization of the Justice Department by the administration? I mean, is there any other way to view these firings?
No, there isn't. It's very clear what's being done. And in fact, there's no other way to view it, because it actually was what they said in the termination letters of these agents. They were accusing these people of weaponization, which in Trump world means that they were prosecuting January 6th insurrectionists. They were doing something that, ran afoul of the ideological purity that MAGA world is now demanding of our civil servants. And not only is that dangerous in substance, but look at the overall impact on the culture of our nation's leading law enforcement agency, the FBI. This is the organization that's responsible for protecting us against terrorism, that's responsible for protecting us against cybercrime, elder fraud, elder abuse, cybercrime. I mean, all these things that we rely on day in and day out. And now, because of Kash Patel and Attorney General Bondi and Donald Trump, the main criteria for who serves in these roles is loyalty to Donald Trump, not actual competency in protecting us against these threats.
So perhaps to that end, NPR reports a former January 6 defendant who urged rioters to kill police at the Capitol is now working as a senior advisor for the Department of Justice. Police body cam footage shows Jared Wise berating officers, not the two you see there on the picture, on the screen, calling them Nazi and Gestapo. What is your response to the administration saying that Wise is a, quote, valued member of the Justice Department and we appreciate his contributions to our team?
Well, the attempt of this administration and those in this administration to change what is normal and accepted behavior in American culture and society is shocking. Well, let's not forget that earlier this week, Pete Hegseth retweeted a tweet by a pastor who believes that women shouldn't have the right to vote, that women shouldn't have basic fundamental constitutional rights. He's been very clear about that. And our Secretary of Defense just nonchalantly retweeted the horrible things that this pastor has said and is legitimizing and platforming. Listen, this is happening throughout the entire administration, senior officials, Donald Trump himself. That's why we have to continue to call it out, say it's not okay, it's not normal behavior, and push back on it every single opportunity that we have.
Let's move now to Trump's immigration crackdown, because arrests in Colorado have quadrupled since he returned to office. But while the administration says it's focused on deporting the worst of the worst, A new analysis finds through May, about 60% of those arrested by ICE in Colorado and Wyoming had no criminal convictions, and only a small fraction have been convicted of violent crimes. What are you hearing from people in your district about these arrests?
That's exactly what's happening in Colorado and throughout the country. The vast, vast majority of these folks are not violent criminals. Right? Well, what they do here is they point to violent crime and they say, we need to enforce against these violent offenders. All immigrants are violent offenders. You know, they demonize immigrants and refugees by pointing to these one-off cases, and then they go after everybody else. That's what they're doing here. That's what they're doing every place else. In fact, by definition, mass deportation means just that. Means it's not focused, it's not surgical, it's not pinpointed on the worst offenders. It means mass. Actually, let's just take it for what it is. And that's what they're doing. And they're continuing to deprive people of basic due process. They're continuing to deprive people of access to counsel. They continue to just go after folks because they're in the wrong place at the wrong time, or maybe they just look different or they look off. I can't think of anything more un-American than doing that, because in fact, the founders of this country put habeas corpus and due process as one of the fundamental elements of our Constitution, and why they rebelled against the crown. Because in the United States of America, everybody should have their day in court, everybody should have due process, and the government must prove that you are who they say you are.
Okay. Colorado Congressman Jason Crow, you're welcome on the broadcast anytime. Thank you for making time for us today. Appreciate you.